Hello, Shelley.
Hey,
You are my client, and I am your SLP.
this is
We,
wonderful news.
this is wonderful news. We are going to go through this lovely video together.
Okay,
Um, can you see my screen?
I can.
Okay, great.
There's a
Perfect.
little bit of a lag, I think, for me on this end, but I will be
Oh,
asking and
okay,
whatnot after. Okay.
great. So let's get started. So first, I'm going to go through the swallow and point out structures. And then the second time I'm going to go through and explain exactly what's happening. Okay?
Okay.
And if you have any questions, just stop me and you can ask. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to start playing the video. I'm going to wait till it gets a little bit clearer and then I will point out some structures. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. This is your epiglottis, which essentially covers over this entire space here, which is the laryngeal vestibule. And these little guys here are your arytenoid cartilages. These help to contract to make sure that your epiglottis is covering it so food doesn't go down into your airway. This is your trachea down in here. These are your true vocal folds. And then right here, like this little shadow, is where your false vocal folds would be.
Okay. Do false focal folds serve a purpose?
Yes, false vocal folds will help tell if something is being aspirated to help you cough it up.
Okay. Great.
And here you have your um, piriform sinuses. Sorry.
Yep.
So this is your left piriform sinus and your right one. Back here, this is the posterior pharyngeal wall, and the light is just shining really brightly on it, so it's kind of like whiting it out. But back behind here is your closed esophageal inlet, or your esophagus, where food goes down into your stomach.
Great. Okay, that makes sense.
And then back here, behind the epiglottis, is your valleculae, and then um, yeah. Oh, and back here is the base of the tongue. You can't really see it because of this video.
Okay, that helps me orient to where I know where everything is in relation to my body. Great. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. So this is like anterior, this is where your head would be, and this is posterior, this is where like the back of your head would be.
Great. Okay.
Okay, so now that we have our structures labeled, when you are eating something, the first phase is called oral phase, and this begins when the body looks at a piece of food or smells a piece of food. So when you take a bite of something, you obviously put it in your mouth, and the natural process of mastication occurs. And
What is
mastication
mastication?
is, mastication is chewing.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha. Thank you.
start chewing, and then your salivary glands activate to help you essentially um, lubricate the food that you're chewing, and it creates it into a very like mashed together little structure called a bolus. So
Oh,
when your mouth is creating this bolus, your tongue shapes into all these different shapes to help form this bolus. And then your tongue goes to the roof of your mouth or the hard palate, and this is where the swallow begins. The tongue creates kind of a slide for the bolus to go down. The soft palate and velum raise to close off your nasal cavity so nasal regurgitation doesn't happen. And then as soon as the bolus hits where the hyoid bone area is, or the very base of the tongue, which is right here behind the epiglottis, that begins the oral pharyngeal phase. And during the oral pharyngeal phase, the posterior pharyngeal wall is pulled back to create more space. The epiglottis here folds down over the arytenoid cartilages, closing off the laryngeal vestibule. And then food goes back down into the esophagus, which begins the esophageal phase, and a natural occurrence called peristalsis. And peristalsis is kind of where the muscle relaxes in the front and contracts in the back to move the food quickly and evenly into the stomach.
Okay.
Is there anything there that didn't make sense?
Nope. Everything there made sense. Thank you.
Great. So let's watch this video and I will show you when the epiglottis is folding over and exactly what parts we're having issues with during your swallow. Okay?
Okay. Okay, that was going to be my question is this a normal swallow? So let's see.
So this is where you're breathing because your vocal folds are open.
Mm-hmm.
And you're about to take your first swallow. So when it blacks out, that's you attempting to swallow. So I'm going to stop it here for a minute. Can you see?
Yep. What is that stuff?
So the green stuff is the green milk that I made you drink during your swallow eval.
Okay.
And that helps me to see it.
And why is it colored?
It's colored so I can see it better
Okay.
during the fees.
Okay.
So as you can see here, there's the milk is in a lot of different areas. It's here in the piriform sinuses. It's back here behind the valleculae, we can see. And down here in the laryngeal vestibule, you can see lots of green here. And this isn't necessarily a good thing because this means that all of this liquid is going down into your trachea and into your lungs.
What can
This
happen
is,
if it goes into my lungs?
you can develop pneumonia or other serious life-threatening disorders. So it's very important that we're taking a look at this.
Okay.
So it's penetrating down past your vocal folds, and it's penetrating here um, on the epiglottis.
Okay, I can see that. Yes.
Yes. So let's go ahead and play through the rest of it. And here you try to clear the swallow. Okay, and that's the footage we have.
Okay.
Is there
Well,
any other questions you have?
I think you answered everything. I actually had more questions, but it was nice because you answered the ones that I had written down here before I could even ask them.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.